Patita Pavana Srila Prabhupada ki. Wie hast du es angeklagt?
Tja, der hat jetzt einfach Gold.
Sie haben gehört, dass du lieber auf dem Stuhl sitzt.
Ich hocke schon lieber auf dem Stuhl.
Eben.
Aber ich gebe keine Klasse.
Wenn du jetzt das?
Nicht heute?
Morgen? Du bist da. Was ist das immer? Ah,
Das
hast du
ist
das
nicht.
Ah, du.
Weil ich nicht gut das
Ja, das sei es jetzt nicht.
Schlimmes passieren alles.
Ich weiß aber nicht.
Völlig.
Hat er noch etwa noch
Spekulation.
was gesagt?
Völliger Müll.
Ist der überhaupt da?
So ist.
Ich glaube, den habe ich noch nie gesehen.
Wow.
Der steht da, aber
Ein grosser.
Hast du schnell ins Zimmer schauen? Ja. Weißt du, oder? Ja, der Pro. Die nicht alt war, oder? Ja, genau.
Aber weniger, weil Müll auskommt, viel mehr. Weil es nicht so großen Schutz verfälscht. Nein, das ist viel zu falsch. Aber jetzt mal, wo ist der Bias? Das machen wir dann nicht was, oder?
Nein, er weiß jetzt wirklich bestellen. Er kann nicht auf dem Gas ansitzen. Das ist ja logisch.
Wenn das Sofa reinholen, dann verstanden. Das ist hässlich.
Thank you, Radhika. Dankeschön. Thank you very much. Simon hat mal eine Zwischenzeit. Jai Gaura Premanande Hari
Thank you. Yeah, I apologize I'm late. I lost my phone. So temple president sends the schedule on WhatsApp. I have no WhatsApp, so I didn't know. He just told me I had to speak something.
It's good to set it up.
No, perfect.
Wow.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 So it is Canto 4, Chapter 23, Text 8. Tena Kramanusiddhena Dvasta Karma Mala Ashya Prana Ayamai Pranayama Yoga San Niruddha Shatvargaha Shinnabandhanaha Tena Kramanusiddhena Dvasta Karma Malashayaha Pranayamai Suniruddha Shadvargaschina Bandhanaha. Please repeat.
Tena Kramanusiddhena Vasta Karma Malashaya Pranayamai Saniruddha Shatvargaschina Bandhanaha.
Tena Kramanusiddhena Dvasta Karma Malashaya Pranayamai Saniruddha Sattvargaschina Bandhanaha.
Tena Kramanusiddhena Dvasta Karma Malashaya Pranayamai Saniruddha Sattvargaschina Bandhanaha.
Tena Kramanusiddhena Vasta Karma Malashaya Pranayamai Saniruddha Shatvargaschina Bandhanaha.
Matajus.
Tena Kramanusiddhena
Dvasta Karma Malashaya Pranayamai Saniruddha Shadvargaschina Bandhanaha. Tena. Thus, by practicing such austerities, Krama, gradually, Anu, constantly, Siddhena,
Siddhena,
by perfection,
by perfection,
Dvasta,
Vasa,
smashed,
smash,
Karma,
Karma,
fruitive activities,
fruitive activities,
Mala,
Mala,
dirty things,
dirty things,
Ashaya,
Ashraya,
desire,
desire,
Prana Ayamahi,
Prana,
by practice of pranayama yoga,
the practice of Pranayama Yoga,
breathing exercises,
breathing exercises,
Sun,
Sun,
be, Niruddha,
Niruddha,
stopped,
stop,
Shatvargaha,
Shatvarga,
the mind and the senses,
mind and the senses,
Chinna Bandhanaha,
Chinna Bandhana,
completely cut off from all bondage.
completely cut off from all bondage.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Maharaj Ki Jai. By thus practicing severe austerities, Maharaj Prithu gradually became steadfast in spiritual life and completely free of all desires for fruitive activities. He also practiced breathing exercises to control his mind and senses, and by such control he became completely free from all desires for fruitive activity. Purport. The word pranayamahi is very important in this verse because the Hatha yogis and Ashtanga yogis practice pranayama, but generally they do not know the purpose behind it. The purpose of pranayama or mystic yoga is to stop the mind and senses from engaging in fruitive activities. The so-called yogis who practice in Western countries have no idea of this. The aim of pranayama is not to make the body strong and fit for working hard. The aim is worship of Krishna. In the previous verse, it was specifically mentioned that whatever austerity, pranayama and mystic yoga practices Prithu Maharaj performed were performed for the sake of worshipping Krishna. Thus, Prithu Maharaj serves as a perfect example of yogis also. Whatever he did to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. The minds of those who are addicted to fruitive activity are always filled with unclean desires. Fruitive activities are symptomatic of our polluted desire to dominate material nature. As long as one continues to be subject to polluted desires, he has to accept one material body after another. So-called yogis, without knowledge of real purpose of yoga, practice it in order to keep the body fit. Thus they engage themselves in fruitive activities, and thus they are bound by desire to accept another body. They are not aware that the ultimate goal of life is to approach Krishna. In order to save such yogis from wandering throughout the different species of life, the Shastras warn that in this age such yogic practice is simply a waste of time. The only means of elevation is the chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. King Prithu's activities took place in Satya Yuga, and in this age, this practice of yoga is misunderstood by fallen souls who are not capable of practicing anything. Haribol. Consequently, the Shastras enjoin Kalau Nastya Eva Nastya Eva Nastya Eva Gatir Anyatha. The conclusion is that unless the karmis, jnanis and yogis come to the point of devotional service to Lord Krishna, their so-called austerities and yoga have no value. Naradhita. If Hari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is not worshipped, there is no point in practicing meditational yoga, performing karma yoga, or culturing empiric knowledge. As far as pranayama is concerned, chanting of the holy name of the Lord and dancing in ecstasy are also considered pranayama. In the previous verse, Sanat Kumar instructed Maharaj Prithu to engage constantly in the service of the Supreme Lord Vasudeva. Yat pada pankaja palasha vilasa bhaktya karmashyam grathitam udgrathyanti santaha. Only by worshipping Vasudeva can one become free from the desires of fruitive activities. Outside of worshipping Vasudeva, the yogis and jnanis cannot attain freedom from such desires. Tadvana rikta matayo yatayo piruddha shroto ganastam aranam bhaja Vasudevam. Bhagavat, Srimad Bhagavatam. Bhag means Srimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita. 4:22-39, yeah, Bhagavatam. Here the word pranayama does not refer to any ulterior motive. The actual aim is to strengthen the mind and senses in order to engage them in devotional service. In the present age, this determination can be very easily acquired simply by chanting the holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Gyanatimidandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Sampadhatikam Andeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahanamita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi Radha Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sutleri Pranamani Haripriye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasimnubhyayevacha Atitanam Pavanabhyo Vishnavyo Namo Namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. So I beg mercy from all the senior devotees who are here, so I can speak and not deviate from the path of Acharyas, Prabhupada, Parampara, and so it would be fruitful for all of us. We can hear something inspirational. I might just repeat something, not understand it, but you might get the message. So this Srimad Bhagavatam is actually manifestation of Krishna. So all our processes are like that. You can approach Krishna directly. They're so powerful, these processes. If only we tune in, if we do the prayer, if we ask for mercy, mercy is available. Yesterday, Krishna Prema Rupa very nicely explained that mercy is always available. It's just us. We're not really crying for mercy, we're not begging for mercy. So especially if the speaker is not of the highest grade, and you have to listen Srimad Bhagavatam, then you have to do some extra prayers. So the mercy still would come, It's like in plumbing, there is like a good pipe, new pipe, strong, the flow is there, pressure is there. And then there is some, like a rusty, useless, small one, you have to clean it. But you still can make it work, but you have to do some endeavor. So it's the same way. And here it's very interesting. We saw how Prabhupada is saying that yoga is useless. He's just saying the yoga, the way it was practiced in Satya Yuga, is useless now. I can read directly the sentence, you heard it. And then he said also that dancing in ecstasy and chanting Hare Krishna is considered to be pranayama. That we also heard. That's very interesting. I never thought of it, but actually, when one is dancing in ecstasy, he is doing very good exercise, and his prana is flowing directly where it's supposed to. You know, prana in pranayama. I'm not an expert, but it has to do something with prana, right? Anybody knows a little bit more about pranayama? You do breathing exercises, but you wanna, there are like 5 airs in the body, and you wanna balance them. You know, so they should be in perfect balance. But when one will dance in ecstasy for Krishna, for sure, everything is balanced, taken care of automatically. No need to do some special 3 times from left. When, I don't know, I never did really. So, and then, King Prithu's activities took place in Satya Yuga. And in this age, this practice of yoga is misunderstood by fallen souls who are not capable of practicing anything. That's another interesting statement. Fallen souls who are not capable of practicing anything. Who are these souls? These are us, right? Because in Satya Yuga, imagine, it is described that generally all people, in the beginning at least of Satya Yuga, all people were hamsas, right? Were like swans, endowed with all strength and beauty and qualities of sattva guna. There was not even division in Varna and Ashrama at that time. I mean, not Ashrama, Varna. They were not manifested the way we know them from the scriptures. Because everybody was so much in sattva guna. There was no lower Varnas manifested. They could live for 100,000 years, right? That's quite some time. I mean, so we read descriptions in Bhagavatam how such and such Muni meditating for 30,000 years, you know, under the water, for example, or 60,000 years. These are common, you know, common sadhana practices that time. So, because whoever tried of us to do some yoga, some meditation, we can feel, yeah, to some extent this maybe working, calming down the mind for like 2 minutes maybe. But in order to really gain the fruit of it, you have to spend proper time. It's really a slow process, which also demands complete focus, attention, and all your energy. There are actually references in Jaiva Dharma, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, one of his character, he's a Vaishnava, but he was doing Ashtanga Yoga also, as well. And he comes from the background of Ashtanga Yoga. I mean, this is a fictional character, but this is like a novel Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote, and all the characters, they were exemplifying something. So in this case, I even don't remember the name, but I just heard the description. So I never went myself through the Jaiva Dharma like completely. I was just reading certain excerpts for certain purpose. So, but there is this yogi, and he became a Vaishnava because he was sincerely practicing this Ashtanga Yoga, and he could be directed from within towards Vaishnavism, you know, towards the way you can achieve real benefit, real goal. Same Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he explains that if those practices, we know karma yoga, jnana yoga, if they are not touched by bhakti, they are not bearing the fruit. They cannot give the fruit. So the actual fruit is coming from bhakti. What's the fruit? Who can guess? What is the fruit of all these austerities and pranayama and all types of spiritual practices? Yes?
Krishna prema.
Absolutely, yeah. So, and also Prabhupada is explaining that yogis often don't know that that's the fruit, that's the goal. I mean, we are extremely lucky because this parampara system was expanded by Srila Prabhupada to the West, and it could reach such personalities as ourselves. We would have taken birth completely outside of Vedic system, you know. And now some of us are really serious practitioners of Bhakti Yoga, you know, having achieved some, how you say, elevation in that process, getting some mercy and coming closer to Krishna, coming closer to actually receive Krishna Prema. Though it is stated Krishna Prema is in the heart of the jiva, right? It's in the heart of the jiva, but it's dormant, it has to be awakened. So we are, according to scriptures, according to parampara, according to all the sages and Vaishnavas, we are servants of Krishna. Yesterday, Krishna Prema Rupa Prabhu mentioned this verse from, I think it's Chaitanya Charitamrita, like Ekale Ishvara Krishna, I think Ar Sabu Britya. Britya means servants, Ishvara Krishna. So Ekale is the only, he said that this position is occupied, the enjoyer's position is occupied. We cannot be, it's taken. So what is left? It's service. There's another verse, I heard it from Guru Maharaj, I don't know the source exactly. But Ekamana, Ekanamana, and then the same ending, that we are the servants of Krishna. You can believe it or not believe it, doesn't matter. We're all servants of Krishna. It doesn't change the fact. So we're servants of Krishna, and Krishna Prema is in the heart, but we are not aware of that at all. We are covered, and yesterday also Krishna Prema Rupa Prabhu explained very well that we are covered with this abhiman, the Purusha abhiman. I am the doer, I am the enjoyer, right? And it's like so deep rooted. It pervades all our activities, all our thoughts. Even we are here, we're trying to do some devotional service, but we still are not giving up this abhiman. We are not really giving it up, because otherwise we would be just swimming in ecstasy. For sure. It's how it is. Therefore sometimes we are able to get some glimpse of this happiness. It's not full-fledged. We are not feeling any bhava, or that is, at least according to the description, whatever we feel is far from bhava. But we're getting some glimpses, which gives us some faith, some conviction and enthusiasm to go on in pursuit of that Krishna Prema, right? So we can see there is very vast ocean of Vedic scripture, and they prescribe so many different varieties of activities, solutions, practices, and that is difficult, especially in Kali Yuga, because we have such a short life, to ascertain the real goal. But we were given it on a, how you call it, a plate with a silver plate. Yeah, silver plate. It's Krishna Prema. But yet we still have to understand. We still have to become not just very desirous, but we have to become like completely eager to get it. There are some passages in the scriptures, in our Vaishnava scriptures, that the only prize is the eagerness to get it. That's Laulya, it's called in Sanskrit. Sorry, I cannot refer you to the verse. I know the verse exists. I can do some research from Google Pandit and find you the verse, but you probably also heard the verse. So, the Prabhupada mentions impure desires, those who are, let me find the sentence. Yeah. Fruitive activities are symptomatic of our polluted desire to dominate material nature. So, we are still trapped in those fruitive desires. Is it not? Who is not trapped? Anyone here who is free? I want to see. So I can, pay my obeisances and ask for guidance. And these desires are the reason we cannot perceive anything spiritual, really. We're having this, how do you say, the curtain, now the curtain is open, right? We can see the deity form. Jai Jagannath, so, but can we really see the form of Krishna, even we're looking at the deity? You know, Jagannath, how Mahaprabhu was seen Jagannath, Tribhanga Lalita, curved in 3 places, holding the food. We see Jagannath's external form, so to say. He is Jagannath, for sure, but we are not in ecstasy, like Mahaprabhu. He just fell, you know, he just lost his consciousness. He saw Jagannath. Jagannath was looking at him. He just lost his consciousness. You know, he was overwhelmed with ecstasy of love. And we like Haribol. No, I'm not saying we don't feel anything. It will not be true, because we are attracted for sure. But I'm just saying the degree is far from the degree we are after, so to say. And now these fruitive desires are what we are strongly desiring. You know, laulium for that, we have laulium for that. This intense greed. But how do we get intense greed to serve Krishna? And also intense greed to have prem, because Krishna's service is done with love. Loving devotional service, Prabhupada keeps saying, loving devotional service. It's not just devotional service out of duty, it's loving devotional service, right? We really have to desire and want this prem like it's the only valuable thing. It actually is the only valuable thing. You know, even Sanskrit name means Purushartha, Parama Purushartha, the highest Purusha Artha, Purushartha, the valuable thing for Purushas, for human beings. So the highest of the real Purushartha is Krishna Prem. And do we feel like it? Or, I mean, we have so many things, so many duties we have to do. I mean, they're in service of Krishna, but our mind is there. It's not like at any given moment we're just begging for Krishna Prem. Is it so? We're not. So how do we get that desire? I think that's an important question. How to get that desire, if that's the only price to pay. Intense greed. But intense greed means you, I don't know, I can give some material examples. You know, somebody is fixed, I want to marry that person. You know, intense greed. Cannot see anyone else but that person. Right? Something like that maybe somebody experienced. Or I want to get that position, you know. So nothing else, just that, and person is fixed, you know, doing the studies and necessary activities to achieve, or certain material thing. I want to get that. And that time is like ekanishta is the, you know, person is completely fixed. So we have to be fixed on Krishna Prema, but how that will happen? It's so theoretical then. We have to be fixed on Krishna Prema. How would we be fixed on Krishna Prema? Where to get that desire from?
To associate with those you have.
Super. From who is experienced, he knows. This is how it works. Otherwise, the association is the magical key. It's mentioned 3 times. Sadhu Sangha, yeah. Sarva Siddhi Lava Matra, Sadhu Sangha. 3 times. It means it's of utmost importance. It's the key to anything in devotional service. Because bhakti comes from bhakti, Krishna explains. There is 3 transcendental entities. Bhakti, Bhakta, Bhagavan. They are not from material world. This is how spiritual world is operating. Bhakti, Bhakta, Bhagavan. These things are there. Not in here. Here we have anything but that. But still, Krishna is so merciful, he comes himself sometimes. We just missed, 5,000 years ago we could have been, joining Mahaprabhu's kirtan directly. or 5,000 years we could have. I mean, these are extremely fortunate persons who are able to be there at the right time. But we nevertheless also very fortunate, because Krishna's devotees, pure devotees such as Prabhupada and Acharyas, Gurus, Shri Gurus, real Gurus, who really are Brajvasis. For real, they are. And not just that, they are in the highest rasa. That's how Gaudiya Vaishnavas are. The Guru is supposed to be in the highest rasa, so they can explain all the included rasas. The Acharya is like that. He is Gopi Manjari. This is very clear from our scriptures as well. And they are in contact with Krishna always. That's yoga, bhakti yoga. They are connected with love, with that Krishna prema. Whatever they do out of love, right? They don't do it just out of duty. Though the sense of duty is there because there is an order of spiritual master who is most elevated associate of Krishna. How Prabhupada was describing his spiritual master. How Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was referring to his spiritual master. How Prabhupada disciples are describing Prabhupada. And so on. But that realization is there. Those elevated souls, they actually know Krishna. They are very dear to Krishna. They are close associates of Krishna. So from such devotees, we can get the highest benefit, because they are like multi-billionaires, spiritually speaking. Like unlimited funds, directly connected to the source, right? The first verse of Gurvashtaka, what it says. But Guru is getting that from the ocean of mercy, right? This is how he's becoming the cloud. Cloud is carrying so much water. Cloud, I mean, it can rain all day. It can rain all day, no problem. Even few days in a row. And then also moving over some land and still. It's a comparison, of course, it's an analogy. But the thing is, Acharya Guru is connected directly to Krishna. Directly. And the supply of mercy is unlimited. And he can give it. Now we have to want to get it also. And by association with those who have Krishna Prema, we can get the desire to get Krishna Prema. If we associate with somebody who doesn't have Krishna Prema, then we cannot get Krishna Prema. We cannot get the desire to get Krishna Prema. Impossible. So it's like also one of the examples, if you have only $100, you can distribute it, but you cannot give 1,000 or you cannot give million, right? That is very important point. So the sadhu sangha actually has to be done in this lifetime, and that's the most important activity in human birth. Adhato Brahma Jigyasa, right? Now is the time to inquire. And we know we have to inquire not just about Brahman, but about Para-Brahman, right? We already are, like Krishna Prema Prabhu was saying, so much knowledge we got. Just a couple of years we're in the movement, we read the books, we get such amazing amount of knowledge. It's just, but it's a trick here. I started saying that Vedas are very vast. So much information is there. And there are people, they call Chaturvedis or Trivedis, they know by heart like thousands and thousands of verses from the Vedas. They know them. But still it doesn't qualify them to get Krishna Prema. That's interesting. So how one will actually get the essence of the Vedas? Any idea?
Yeah, you just told, by developing desire.
That would be the outcome of getting the essence of the Vedas. Yeah. Yes, Prabhu. By having the same faith as you have in Krishna, having the faith in spiritual master. That is again sadhu sangha. and a very perfect verse, because Guru is the one who collects all the nectar from the Vedas and gives to us like on a little spoon. You know, without Guru we will not be able to understand anything. Even truly Prabhupada's purpose we cannot understand. Honestly, so much is there in Prabhupada's purpose, unlimited. We only read according to our ability to understand. So, therefore there is great importance of associating with elevated devotees and accept one as spiritual master. And it can be both in one person. It could be Diksha and Shiksha Guru in one person, or you can receive Shiksha from a different spiritual master. There's no problem. Because Balaram is able to manifest through a transparent fire medium. Somebody who's pure, everything can manifest. You know, the whole parampara, including Krishna, including Srimati Radharani. Like if you heard of Govind Swami Maharaj, his statement was very heavy. He said, if Srimati Radharani is not able to manifest through a guru, something wrong is there. Simple as that, you know. And so we have to take great care in finding that association, because that association will grant us the right knowledge, you know, the siddhanta, the perfect conclusion of the Vedas, not just some conclusion, the perfect conclusion. There are so many verses and so many passages even in our Vaishnava line. A lot actually, you know, the works of Goswamis, and it also will take probably a lifetime to study. And we might know a lot of them verses, but we might have apasiddhanta, we might have misunderstanding. Is it possible? It's absolutely possible. Because we are not on a pure level. Somebody who's pure, he will read Prabhupada's books, he directly will associate with Prabhupada. He will get the exact meaning what Prabhupada implies with every word. Somebody who is a little bit impure, he has a filter. We have a filter, and we will imply that filter reading the transcendental perfect verse or text purport, and then we will just slightly modify the meaning a little bit. It fits our filter. And then we are ended up with apasiddhanta. Yeah, this is how it works, unfortunately. Therefore, if you heard of Shrota Parampara, you heard the expression, right? No. Okay. Shrota is coming from Shravanam, hearing. You know, many will discuss, we have Diksha Parampara, we have Shiksha Parampara, we have Shrota Parampara for sure. Because each and every Acharya in the Parampara, they heard from their predecessor Acharya. It's just how the knowledge is transmitted. You heard the term Shabda Brahman, right? For sure. So that's how it works. Prabhupada explains, even the person is sleeping, his sense of hearing is still active and you can wake him up. So the same, it's like analogy. We are sleeping on the lap of the Vishmaya, but by hearing the transcendental sound vibration, we can be elevated back to our original consciousness of Krishna's servants. So, anyway, the thing is I lost my phone. I prepared quite a bunch of verses, because these statements are maybe like even devotees who've been decades around, they say, no, I haven't heard it. So, therefore I wanted to back myself with all the scriptural evidence where it is stated, where the exact word is used. Now my phone is somewhere and all the verses are there. I don't have time to prepare again because I'm working. But you can do your own research. You can look for Shrota Parampara. And you know, the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam explain how Shravanam is the key. It's mentioned as the first process, right? Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. It is very simple. You cannot do kirtanam unless you have done Shravana. Prabhupada said, what's the qualification of the speaker? He should have heard from a bona fide spiritual master, right? That you definitely saw and heard. That is there in purports all over. This qualification is to hear from a spiritual master who is bona fide representative of Krishna. That's the qualification. Unless one have heard, what are they? Sufficiently and properly, one will not be able to speak. But if one will hear properly and sufficiently, at certain point, naturally, this kirtana will manifest. Naturally, it will manifest. It's like in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Mahaprabhu, it was like volcanic eruption. When he just opened his mouth, all the glorification of Krishna and his name was just coming out. He couldn't stop it. Of course, Mahaprabhu is the highest example, and he was in the mood of the highest devotee, Srimati Radharani. So, but still, if we are hearing correctly from a bona fide representative of the Lord, we will get the ability to perform kirtan. Without that, we will not be able to perform kirtan the right way. It will not be samyak, it will not be complete. It will be incomplete. Why? Because there would be still some apasidantas left, some aparadas would be included. So then it will not be shuddha, it will not be pure, right? It will be some abas at best, or even aparada. Like we have nama aparada, nama bas, and shuddha nama. So we are instructed to consciously endeavor to avoid 10 offenses, right? And this is the way how one can come to the platform Nama Bas. And then the name, one will feel the presence, not I would say vivid, clear manifestation, but it's like now, I think around 5, the sky, if it's clear, starts to brighten up slowly. This is like Namabas. There is no sun yet, but already you definitely can tell sun is coming, because the whole sky is slightly changing, the lightness. It's becoming brighter. So, and then of course there are degrees of Namabas, but only by Namabas one can prepare himself for Shuddhanam. Cannot, if we cannot jump from Nama Aparada to Shuddhanam. That's not going to work, right? And same in our devotional service. There is Bhakti Abhas as well. It looks like Bhakti, we are doing it, but it's not yet loving devotional service. It's Abhas, it's some type of shadow or reflection. It's not the real thing. And we should be constantly aware of that. Why? Because then we can sincerely pray, oh Krishna, I'm doing it. Some days, some weeks, some months, some years, decades, and I'm still not doing it with love. I'm not like, what's that? Shikshastakam verse, I forgot how it starts. Number 6, I think. Like Rudhaya Gira Pulakarnishta Vapukada, so on. When my body will tremble in ecstasy and so on, when my hair will stand on end when I chant your name. It's the same, we worship the deity form. His avatar, the deity form is avatar, is Krishna. And the Nama avatar is Krishna, not different from Krishna. So whenever we approach Krishna, and in our devotional program we actually approach Krishna at any given moment, but my body is not trembling in ecstasy, my hair is not standing on end, and my voice is not faltering, what's the word? Faltering. So, but we're alright with that, it's okay. I'm doing devotional service, I'm on a program, but No, you don't. We don't do devotional service just yet. Devotional service is in loving ecstasy. It's performed in loving ecstasy. So if we are conscious of that, then we realize, okay, I'm not yet Bhakta. I'm Bhakta Abbas. I'm a Bhakta Praya. There's a term, like devotee in the making. Not yet a devotee, but devotee. One who will become a devotee. So, and if we really want to become a devotee, we should do some homework. Yesterday, Krishna Prema Rupa Prabhu said, praying is very powerful. Praying is very important and very powerful. And praying in our position, it's what really works. That's the endeavor. Okay, there is the endeavor to follow the program. Like I'm skipping Mangalarti for a couple of days already because I'm so tired. I just need some sleep. It's not a good excuse, but yeah, I'm doing some physical work, so I'm trying to. But there is a program. You should follow the program. Okay, there might be some individual cases, but still it should be guided by spiritual master. Like for example, somebody's working outside. He cannot actually attend the full program in a temple. But there would be still some certain rule and regulation, how a spiritual master would tell him, okay, at least you chant this amount of rounds in the morning before you go to your work, something like that. Or he will maybe give the deities, you worship the deities, do the puja, then you can do like that. Some certain dedication is there. And while doing that, we have to do the prayer part. That's the endeavor. You know, we shouldn't be just external conscious and, you know, looking for the result. Result might not come. We might be cooking. And we expect, yeah, I will cook a great feast, you know, I will cook so many nice preparations and this and that. But we are not the controllers. We might endeavor, we might follow the recipe, we might have some experience how to do things, you know, and we might have some positive experience how it would manifest. So, but things can burn, things can, you know, go wrong. Something might be, suddenly somebody put salt instead of sugar. It looked exactly the same and it was somehow swapped. And you just took it and put it and your sweet rice is salty. You know, we are not in control of these things. But we are often, because of our habits, we are externally focused. You know, the outcome, we are interested in the outcome. That's the fruitive mentality, by the way, if it's not clear. It's fruitive mentality, we want the fruit. And sometimes it takes quite a number of failures before devotee realizes, okay, I should somewhat refrain from only desiring the fruit of the action, though it is in devotional service. Krishna is in charge of fruits. He can give the fruit, he can, you know, not give the fruit. He can look, okay, what you're gonna do? You're trying to serve me, you're trying to do something for me, I'm not gonna give you that result. Let's see what will happen to you. Will you still be eager to serve me, or are you gonna be frustrated and angry and say, what is that? Right? And we often are frustrated and angry. We didn't get our result. This is total karma mentality, fruitive mentality. It's impurity, it's anartha. Krishna Prema Prabhu mentioned anarthas yesterday, how Bhaktivinoda Thakur is describing them. And we can go so much in detail what anarthas are. But actually, how anartha nivriti, or purification from anarthas, is achieved by artha pravriti. We should collect the artha, the real artha. So real artha we already determined is Krishna Prema. So it starts with, this process is a development of faith. Prabhupada is explaining, right? There is a Daushrada, and then through the stages, it reaches, you know, after Nishta, it reaches some Asakti, Ruchi, you know, Bhava, and then Prema. It's all development of faith. So we have to cultivate that faith, we have to cultivate that bhakti. This is the real artha, right? So in our daily activities, that should be our focus, not the external result. That's important, especially, you know, for the managers, I mean, for the cooks as well. If one is always spoiling the preparation, he's not fit to be cook. But Krishna make that to the greatest cooks. I saw it myself, you know. Just it doesn't work. somehow it just doesn't manifest for some reason, you know. They have decades of experience. Everybody knows them as the greatest cook. Or it can be in anything. But I'm now trying to give example of something which have a fruit. You know, if you don't cook, devotees will not have prasad. There is no bhoga to offer to Krishna, first of all. You know, there is like something unfit. Same way with all our activities, you know, our kirtana, our japa chanting, our services. They can all go a little wrong externally, but we should maintain that focus, what we want. Because these activities, one day they are good, one day they are not. It's okay. We're still gonna continue. We're still gonna try, right? And that's a little faith, that's some enthusiasm, that's some determination to go on, no matter what happens. Okay, I don't know. It's like in sports or martial arts. You know, somebody, let's say there is a fight and somebody gets knocked in the face. He's not like giving up. Oh, I was knocked in the face. My God, this is so heavy, I will not go on. No, he's being hit in the face or in other body parts again and again. He still continues. That's the way to win. Sorry for the rough material example. Doesn't have to be that rough in devotional service. We can be much more subtle if we're more attentive. Doesn't have to be so, the lessons don't have to be so heavy. This is probably more my case, if I'm sharing such experience. But somebody who prays to Krishna, he will get the answer in accordance to what he prays for. Krishna is just fulfilling the desires. As Paramatma, he fulfills the desires of every living being, all the materialists, he just fulfills the desires. He's not happy maybe with what they desire. And in our case, it could be also the same. Krishna might not be very happy. Therefore, it says that if he's very merciful to a neophyte devotee, he's not fulfilling his material desires. That's actually the mercy. Because normally, as Paramatma, he would fulfill. He would sanction. He's just supervising and sanctioning as Paramatma. He's not interfering. But if Krishna is already interfering, that's a great mercy, because he is interfering in our life. He's already trying to change it. So I think the time is, we're out of time. And just to conclude, Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Siddhi Hoy, Lava Matra Sadhu Sangha. No. Sarva Shastra Hoy, and yeah, vice versa. You know the verse anyway. So we should beg first of all for that Sangha. You know, the real Sadhu, who is Krishna's representative and Krishna's dear devotee, who is directly in connection with Krishna, who is actually Brijavasi, who has his eternal service going on. Like it is, Prabhupada says, one leg there, one leg here. No? Spiritual master is like that. He's completely liberated. He's just here by his own desire. He's just here to help us. He's actually there. He doesn't have to be here. It's out of mercifulness. You know, he's going to this gutter of existence. He doesn't have to, but he's still. So we have to beg for that association, because that association can give us everything. Can give us the right conclusion. Like Srila Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur says, when you hear from the proper source, Siddhanta is entering your heart and kicks out all Apasiddhantas. Kicks out. Unless we hear the right Siddhanta, Apasiddhanta will remain. And we all have this experience. Sometimes you hear the class of elevated devotee and, oh, this is how it is, this is the way, you know, I was actually getting it wrong all these years, or whatever. You just, no more, your old conviction is no more. It's gone. It's kicked out. But it's only going to happen if we get the right one. That's how it works. This is how Acharyas are describing the process. So we have to really beg for sadhu sangha. And that's the symptom of adau shraddha. somebody who have little transcendental faith, he will beg for sadhusanga, he will run for sadhusanga, because this is his life. There is no other source of life for him. He will be dead otherwise. And he realizes that, he or she. And therefore, the right steps are taken. The prayer is done. Okay, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jagannath Baldev Subhadadev Sushant Chakra ki jai. Shintai Gauranga ki jai. Tagore Premanande. Any comments? Corrections? Time, 9 o'clock. Very good.
It's great, Sagarnath Prabhu ki
Jai.
Prabhupada Shukadev ki jai. Samarit Bhakta.
Nej, svag. Alla. Jag inte inte.
Das ist aber voll die Theorie.